Hey friends, welcome to 1 Minute with Monee. Balance doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen one intentional minute at a time. This podcast gives you the tools to make it happen. I'm your host, Monee, your favorite concierge and founder of Time Managed LLC. Join me each week for practical tips and real examples to help you manage your lifestyle with ease. Hello and welcome to this next episode of 1 Minute with Monee. We're doing a little switch up today. So I am in the interviewee seat. And we have a guest host, Rashidi Hendrix, who is going to interview me. How are you?
I am very well. Thank you for the invitation to interview you on your own podcast.
My own podcast. Who does that? I don't know if this
Is
was
it?
it's done, but hey, I'm a change maker.
But you know what? Sometimes when you are behind the scenes, you need to get recognized too. So that's what we're doing. We're giving you the opportunity to get the shine.
I appreciate that.
So,
Well, let's get started.
well, we're kicking off Women's History Month featuring you, Monee Williams. So, let's frame History Month. And, you're a woman that builds legacy and impact, these luxury experiences. Just set the tone for me and let me know, what is it that people are just, burning to know about this moment?
Well, as it relates to Women's History Month, I think it is important that we recognize women business owners because as a woman, you are running a household. You may be solopreneurs who are by yourself in your business. In some instances, women have another job in addition to that. So it's a lot that we're trying to juggle. Historically, it's been hard for women to get funding for their businesses, to get businesses started and things of that nature. So to take a moment to just stop and recognize the work that we're doing in our businesses to, again, try to build those legacies and the things that we do with our business was very important. It's a really fun month. I interviewed 3 women and learned more about their business and what they do and how they came about. And so I am excited to stand by those women and be in the same month as them to just be recognized and to have a little fun.
Well, you're part of that legacy too. So you have to always remember that, while you're interviewing all these great women, you're also a great woman.
Thank you.
So, we're going to get a little bit more into your luxury business in a minute. We'll talk about that in a second. But, I just think that it's important to know like your story.
Mhm.
What is your origin story? Like, where did you start this journey? And, why was it important to you?
As far as like we could go all the way back to Connecticut.
Just even
I was born in
I,
Connecticut.
I was born on the river in a little tent. No, I mean like if in regards to your passion, your luxury business, how did that start? Where did that come from? Obviously you went to a fine institution, for college,
Yeah.
Florida. But where did this kind of passion start?
Yep. Good question. So I started my career at General Mills in Minnesota, and many years ago, probably over 20 years now. And I worked for General Mills. In that building, they had a concierge, and so every Tuesday and Thursday, you could give her $5 with your target list, and she would go run that errand for you and bring back what you wanted. I asked her one day to bring back a electric toothbrush for my daughter, who was 5 at the time. Sorry, she's 25 now, and she wasn't even 5. Oh my goodness. Anyway, she was probably Nyla was 3, so my daughter was 3 at the time. I asked her to bring back a electric toothbrush, and she brought me back a black Princess Toothbrush. This is a white woman who was not very specific. And that small gesture, and of course, my daughter would love a Princess toothbrush. And then to have a Princess toothbrush that looked like her just was above and beyond what I had asked or even imagined that she would do. And so that moment has stuck with me all these years because it just shows how, as a service provider, one small gesture to go above and beyond what your client asks can make a world of difference. I would have still enjoyed the toothbrush. She did what I asked, but then that extra step that she took to be very thoughtful had a good impression on me. Fast forward to when the Twin Cities had a lot of development. So condominiums, office buildings, hot time during like several years later. And I'm the friend that everyone calls if you need anything. So vacation, dinner reservation, recommendation for hair, restaurants, anything. And so with that moment in mind, with the development happening in Twin Cities, I would drive around the city and say, you know what, these buildings are gonna need a concierge. I can do that. And so it took a while for me to get started, but that is how like the foundation, where the inspiration came from to start my business.
And so you've always kind of been a connector, it seems like, because it seems like in this particular area, you have to be a person that bridges people together. Is that kind of I know your personality, you're very much a networker, but were you a connector as well? Would you say? Were you always kind of putting this person with this person? Oh, I know this person, you should. Because I kind of feel like I'm that person also.
Yeah, absolutely. And I still am to this day. I mean, you think about the Twin Cities, it's not a huge population of Black people. So when you go there for work, for where the major corporations that are there, because there are several, you have to meet people, soon and quickly and make friends, because if not, you're not going to have a good time there, a good experience. And so I bring that up because the core group of girlfriends that I had, and they became friends, they all are friends because of me. Because we were all transplants. I was a connector, and we were all transplants. And some of us, all of us had kids except from one. I think now that person does. But I find commonalities among people, and someone needs something. I'm like, oh yes, you would love to meet this person. Oh, you're doing this. Guess who else would like that? Or you need this. I know somebody who can get that for you.
Right.
And I'm a problem solver. I think connection is also about problem solving. Somebody needs something, let me connect them to somebody or something that can help them solve that problem.
That's right. And what's interesting too also is that I know in the Minnesota community, you also, found a way to kind of integrate your talent of being a connector in the community as well, right? Through your sorority, but then also some other things that you did, correct?
In Minnesota or just in
Or just in general, yeah.
Yeah, I've always been involved in everything, in a lot of things. And I, of course, joined my sorority. So there was community service around that. Started my business in Minnesota. I was also working full time. So there were lots of things that I had my head in.
You were juggling.
I always juggling. I'm still juggling today, as you know. It's, I think the important thing is by being involved, by being a connector, you have to stay connected.
That's right.
And so those organizations, the people that you are in the room with, those are the people that you should get to know. And in a way that's genuine, not because you need something from them, or I'm wondering what you have that I might need that I could use. But no, it's you have to genuinely want to learn about people, connect with people.
And so that kind of birthed Time Managed LLC. I mean, I'm assuming from all that. Tell me a little bit about how you created that entity, and then what were some of your goals, and what was kind of the mission around that? Because all those things that you're talking about seem like it was natural that was going to be the next iteration.
It was, and it's just to give some time, and I'm like telling my age here. So I started at General Mills in 2003. I didn't officially start my business as far as like going to get it registered, taking a business plan class. I didn't do that probably until like 2012, 2015-ish. So that's like over 10 years later.
But you were preparing.
Yes, and I mean, I always had that seed. The seed was planted. I just had to make it happen. How did I make it happen? The name, this is a funny story. And I tell this often because my friends are probably going to want to get paid for it one day. My girlfriends came to visit me. My son, who's now 17, I think he was probably about 1. They came to visit me and stayed in the hotel room on the weekend. So Bill's staycation. And I said, I have this idea. I don't know what I want it to be called. So the woman's business that I had a great experience with, her business was called Consider Done. Her last name was Dunn, right? Created, yeah. So I also wanted something that was clever, and I wanted people to feel like whatever they needed could be accomplished through our business. So I did want something past tense. And I said, time. I'm doing something with time. We were brainstorming, and the 3 of us came up with Time Managed in that room, Memorial Day weekend of 2009.
Wow. And here we are.
And here we are. But again, I did not officially register the business until 2015.
But what gap did you see in the marketplace that you offer versus considered done. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes, yes. So what I found very quickly, so I mentioned the development, and my initial desire was to be in those buildings to staff the concierge desk. What I found very quickly is that people wanted a private client. So all of my initial clients were all individuals, executives, busy families, whether they were single or married or whatever the case may be. They were busy individuals who needed assistance, and I was there to help them. And so that also talks about being able to pivot. So although I had an idea of what I wanted my business to be and how I wanted to serve, I had to respond to the market need by pivoting to more of a private client service. And I'm glad I did because that taught me about a higher level of luxury that I don't think I imagined initially. When you talk about privacy, when you talk about entrepreneurs and NDAs and celebrities and all these people who need your service as an individual, that it's more than just staffing the concierge desk. And I don't think I realized that at first. So the evolution has been amazing because I've been very thoughtful. Of course, it was a slow process getting to even that first part of opening the business. And, here we are now, and I've learned so much, and we've grown. And I still have those private clients. I still have some of my same clients that I started out individually. And now we're in Atlanta. So I've been able to retain some of those clients too, and then build my brand here in Atlanta. My mission has always been you do it all so you don't have to. That is still the same. But now that I'm in Atlanta, I'm Atlanta's favorite concierge. You need a ticket plug? I got you. You
Okay.
need the rest of my reservation. I got that hot skate is crazy, crazy.
Well,
I mean,
if you can hook me up,
I could list you up, but it depends on what's your budget?
we'll talk about it later. 2 pieces and a biscuit. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's amazing. And you've exhibited a tremendous amount of leadership while you're doing that too. I mean, I think it's kind of interesting that, even though you're servicing other people, you're also been kind of a leader, and, talk to me about some of those leadership qualities and some of those things that I think it takes to have, a time managed LLC. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, when people think of a concierge, they automatically think of someone at a desk or someone who can help you get something, whether it is around entertainment. So if you travel, most times you have a concierge at a hotel. Where we set ourselves apart and where that leadership comes to life is that we're thought partners. So it's skating to where the puck is going to be. So never should I have a customer worry about something that I should already know. So how do I do that? I'm proactive. So if you have a family, I'm asking for your school calendars at the beginning of the year. So it's on your calendar. I ask for all your important dates. So do you celebrate, birthdays or anniversary? Are there gifts for people that you like to so by having that in advance, I then now can be the person who reminds them a month out. Have you thought about a gift? Do you need dinner reservations? Oh, you're going to this concert. Do you also need dinner? Do you need private transportation? All of those things are really about thoughtfulness. So yes, we're problem solvers, but if you are being thoughtful and you want to skate to where the puck is, you have to be proactive. So I think part of that leadership is also being proactive and innovative, and asking good questions. And when I notice something happening on my client's calendar and I ask the question, one of my clients said, I noticed that she had gotten I think a cancellation for a massage, or maybe I canceled a massage. There was something around a massage where I thought I had done something wrong. I said, I noticed that you're going to be in town. Do you need me to reschedule this massage? And it was like, oh, I don't, but thanks for asking because now I'm thinking about it and maybe I do. So it's just being able to partner with them, to be thoughtful, but then also asking the questions, being inquisitive, thinking ahead of time.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some of those services you offer in a minute. But, you also do things with Black history. We already talked about your sorority, like how has that kind of helped with some of the things that mission trips, things that you've also kind of been included in, within the community. Like, you seem to be a leadership of kind of across the board.
I do so much. So I don't know if this is related to the business, but I think it's related to being a connector and a leader. So I chair a committee for my sorority. It's around international awareness. So the highlight of those things are HIV awareness, human sex trafficking, also things where we have to be connected. We're not doing this in a silo. So we have partners with the city of Atlanta, the airport, local organizations such as the Empowerment Resource Center, Youth Spark, things of that nature. I also am the chair of the board at Vox ATL, which is it's youth communications. I was a Vox alum, so as a teenager, I was writing for the newspaper. I was actually a team board member, so I was also helping to take the newspaper to print when you had to actually go to the printer. And today, it's full circle. It's a boomerang experience. It's full circle in that I now get to serve as a chair of the board, and it's an exciting time
That's leadership.
as an individual. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank
A
you.
lot of leadership in that.
It is absolutely because not only are we trying to understand what the next generation of youth voice looks like, we have to understand our place as adults and our influence on that youth voice.
Right.
And how do we enable them to be the leaders that we're going to need, in the future.
Absolutely. I mean, it's all related, and doing work in the community actually helps you be a better business owner as well. What we find is that a lot of corporate companies, a lot of Fortune 500 companies, the more that they do philanthropically or just community related, it makes them not only their brand better, but it also makes them a little bit more relatable.
Absolutely. Because you're flexing all those muscles that you need as a business owner when you are involved in the community.
Right.
Communication, and then problem solving. I keep going back to that because it's so important. That's what we do. We have a goal. We need to get there. So how are we going to do that? Same thing that happens in the business. So some of the same qualities that I have and some of the same philosophies that I use to run my business, I also implement those things or have those same tactics with stuff that I do in the community.
So, I'm really amazed at what you've been doing. You sound like you've created a business that's really important, but I'm really curious about business in regards to what is it that you offer, in regards to your high touch concierge, cultural curation services. Because when I think of I'm serious. When I think of a concierge, I think about that cool person behind the desk in a hotel and somebody who's like, you want to go rafting? I got you, or you want to go to, the volcano, and I'm thinking about my time when I went to Costa Rica, that person curated kind of all that stuff. And, even when I wasn't thinking about things, kind of very similar to what you were talking about. But what is it that you offer, and, I know that there are different levels, but, what is it that you offer on a basic level that feels exclusive?
Right. I'm still a cool person.
You are
I'm
cool.
Might not maybe have a desk or in a hotel.
Yeah.
I'm a
But you don't have the name tag
No.
and you don't have the pina colada,
I can get it. I can get it.
Listen,
I can tell you where to get the best one. I can tell you where to get the best old fashioned and it's same but different.
Okay. All right, yeah.
No, but
I ain't going too far. Okay. But where is it?
I'll tell you where you're
All
going.
right.
They're not paying me, so um so our basic foundation, we are a full service concierge personal assistant business. What that means is that anything that you need, like we can take care of. We do it all so you don't have to. So for our private clients, it's all different because everybody's family dynamic is different. So for, let's just say, a single executive, they might want their house cleaning. They might want travel, private transportation arranged. They may want certain services. So in the beginning, I learn about your situation. I learn what you need from us. Understand what your task list is and then chip away at those tasks. And we keep a large list of resources that we use so that if we find a good resource for one client, we know that we can use that resource for other clients. We help families, I mentioned earlier, with scheduling. That's really big. Calendar management, research around that travel. All those things are stuff that we all have to take care of, right?
Sure.
So, but you're outsourcing it and it's freeing up your time. So at the foundation of who we are, at the end of the day, whoever we serve, whether it's an individual, a family, or even someone watching this podcast, my goal is for them to live their life with less stress and more balance.
And whereas an executive assistant might handle all of their business related entities. You also kind of are more on the personal side. Is that, would you
Exactly.
say that that's
Exactly.
the case?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in some instances, yes, you may have an executive assistant that does it all. She'll handle your business stuff, or that person will handle both sides, all aspects of your life. And executives are private, so they may not, may want that separation. And so whatever your situation is, however that we can be integrated in your life, we would do it. We also help businesses. So of course you can staff a desk at a condominium or a high end office apartment building or office building. We can be a resource in that way. We can also help small businesses. So I have a couple small business clients that I help with their organization and helping them do some of the things that they need to do to keep their business afloat. But when you think about us, you can also think about us as a benefit for your employees. Think of a law firm or private equity firm, or even a medical office who might want to have a concierge service as a part of what they offer to their employees.
So you do B2B, I guess. So if I'm a busy executive and I work at, Ron Williams law firm, PC, right? And I'm struggling to figure out, I just moved in town. I just got this job. I need to find a house. I have no time. Or I need to look for furniture. I need a professional interior decorator. You can put all that together.
Exactly. Yep.
You're
And
hired.
thank you. Sometimes research takes a long time. So you might still want the control to choose your realtor. You may still want the control to choose your interior designer. We can interview, let's say 5 to 10, and give you the 2 or 3 that you can choose from. So that legwork that would have taken you hours of research to do, you don't have to.
And you have genuine relationships with some of these.
Exactly.
So it's not like they're just people off the street that I could have looked up on my own or on the internet. You actually say, no, you need to use this person because Usher used them. And they found an amazing piece of real estate. And that's the person that's going to help you, so it's almost like it's personalized in a way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So those vendors and businesses that I use that have done exceptional service, they will be kept on our list so we can continue to use that product.
Now that's on the surface level. Now there's a luxury level too, correct? Or a more premium level that you offer. What does that include? Like, what would that include? Would that include tickets to the Super Bowl, World Cup? Would that be a private jet? Look, I'm going big. I'm going big.
One of our qualities is to be resourceful. So whatever you need, if we don't already have a resource for it, if we can't do it ourselves, we will find somebody who does. So all the things you mentioned, yes, we can do it. That's
Because
that's for an everyday client. So
Right.
my private clients, my small business clients can get all the things that you just mentioned. If they want it, they can get it. That's what they pay for. But we offer VVIP services for suites at these major events. My initial experience with providing VVIP services happened in Super Bowl 2018 in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I was a part of the White Glove Concierge program. And so each concierge was paired with the executive team from a NFL team. And we were assigned to them for the whole week. So we escorted them to NFL honors. We made sure they got back to their transportation. We met them when they first arrived to see what tickets they needed, where they needed to go, what parties they were going to go to, what events they were going to go to.
And did you do this with a team or was it just you alone?
I had my own team.
You had your own team.
Yes, but
So, and you were doing different executives or different.
exactly. So I was assigned to, I don't know if I should say it, but I was assigned to the Houston Texans. So for that week, I was a Houston Texans concierge. When they got there, I asked them what they needed. Did they need dinner reservation? Were they okay with transportation? They went to the NFL honors that week. They did not stay for the game, but I had other concierge that were with me where I supported them. And so I was at the Super Bowl. So whoever needed anything while they were there, we were there to provide.
But are you also curating experiences? Like, did you just say, hey, I'm also going to create like a golf outing for you guys? I'm going to put together like a cigar and sticks, could be patent pending. You know what I mean? Where, you have a golf and a cigars that may not have anything to do with the event, but it could just be like, hey, maybe some of the executives from the GMs from maybe some of the other teams, we're going to get together, put this little mini event that's kind of a side event. And, we're going to do it, maybe, the day before the game or something like that. Are you also curating these kind of events that, specialized?
Yes, we can, absolutely. And so what we put together for the World Cup that's coming to Atlanta and several places across the country this summer are these VVIP packages where you get a suite. So between 16 and 22 people, you have a concierge in that suite with you for the duration of the matches that you choose to attend. If you need dinner before or after the game, if you have guests coming into town and you need accommodation, if you need dinner arrangements, curating all of that. You have a theme associated with it, like you just mentioned. We're creative and we can come up with those themes. But because we're connected, we know who to call for the suites. Because we are good at what we do, we know how to make sure you feel special. You don't have to lift a finger when you come into town. We know who our private transportation provider is going to be. If you need security, we have a security company that we work with. So literally, when we say we do it all, so we don't have to, it's
Mhm.
true.
And are you finding these clients in many different ways? Is it referrals? Is it kind of repeat clients? Because it seems like what you do is really, really like high end, kind of high net worth type people. But it sounds like you also do it for, the everyday Rashidi, and Ron and, like people like that might just say, hey, you know what? I've got a little bit of money. I want to have this experience. Can I feel like a VVI?
You can.
Okay.
Anybody can be a DVIP. If you have the funds, get some people together. Average, one of our packages for the World Cup is about 5,000 a person. So you get 22 of your buddies to put down 5,000. You have the time of your life for a weekend.
So a couple of mortgages, but it's fine.
Right.
And then and then and then you'll set up everything and then we'll just have a great time with our
Mhm.
curated time managed itinerary.
Right.
That's great.
And if you need more or less of what we have to offer, communicate to us and we will, make those adjustments.
Well, I mean, look, I think it's amazing, and you've got me thinking because I kind of feel like I need some security sometimes, maybe not. So,
I wasn't shaking my head. I was
it was a little judgy. That was
I
a
wasn't
little
shaking.
that was a little judgy. You were like, really, really, Rob? Like he's scary. It was a little judgy, but we'll get back to that. So you've said all the cool things, but what are some of the challenges? Like, look, give me the real deal. Like, what are some of the challenges in doing something like this? And you're, in this journey of doing this. I mean, I can only imagine that it's got to be my consuming me as a producer. I know that I'm probably thinking about a million different things that could either go right or go wrong, and it's just an endless supply of concentration to make sure that everything gets executed when sometimes it don't get executed. But what are those challenges from this journey of being a concierge?
Just what you mentioned is exactly what I was going to describe because my name is on the line, the name of my business is on the line. So if I am arranging something, it has to go well. And, sometimes you get into this rhythm of we know what we're doing, we do it well, so we're just going to do it. But then something comes along where it's a new ask, or maybe you didn't think of something because it's a regular ask or something you always do. So I find myself on like second guessing myself sometimes or being nervous and having sleepless nights if my clients are traveling and I've curated a trip. I had a client go to Milan for New Year's Eve around that time and trying to coordinate transportation in Italy while you're here and the time difference and making sure that they're communicating and to find each other. It was a hit dumb. Right. So it is that level of care that causes nervousness because you want things to go right. And I won't say perfectionist because I don't think anything needs to be perfect per se, but it really needs to be near perfect.
But in an instance like that, do you just, maybe bring in a fixer who just, that's what we call them in our industry. It's just that person that just is like the local person who can just kind of translate? Or
If I have somebody there, but if I don't, then I am the fixer. I just have to figure it out.
right, you might have to hop a flight, just in case.
Just in case you hear that. I'm going to Italy to make sure my clients are okay.
Let's go.
But yeah, you have to be creative and proactive. So in instances where clients are traveling, especially to other countries, WhatsApp is like a lifesaver. And communicate ahead of time with the people, your vendors who are there. The hotel, is there a hotel concierge that I can contact? Can they recommend dinner reservations, tour guides? Do I have their contact information? Can I put us all on a group chat within WhatsApp so I can sleep and they can go about their
It's
vacation?
time difference.
There's a time.
And they're calling you and you're like, I'm in the bed. But it's like, team no sleep.
And that doesn't happen. That does not happen often, but you put these safeguards in place so you can have a night where you can sleep. You don't have any sleepless nights. Those safeguards are going to help you. So that's a challenge. Staffing is a challenge. So finding good people who are customer focused and who are thoughtful, who can be proactive has been a challenge. Funding and growing has been a challenge.
We'll talk about scaling in a minute.
Okay.
But that's, a challenge for a lot of businesses. I mean, you've been in business for a long time now, more than 10 years, more than almost 20 years, I guess.
Officially, yeah, it's been 11 years.
11 years, so it's kind of one of those things where you've had your growing pains, you've had a chance to, change shoe sizes 3 or 4 different times. And now it's kind of like figuring out how to get in autopilot. But tell me, like, like that Milan trip sounded like it worked out. Like, what are some of the other wins that you were excited about? Like, yes, we did that. Like, what are some of the things that kind of come to mind?
So one of the things that I am most proud of, one of the wins I would say, is my first celebrity client.
Okay.
And I was so excited. And I was excited because it was my chance to work with a different type of individual, different industry that I hadn't been exposed to. And it was by a referral. And so I wanted to learn a lot. Of course, it was, an amazing opportunity. This person was working on his own production, published a book. And so that was my first time doing craft services on that production. So that's something else that we added to our.
I like craft services. I love craft.
I also planned the event for a book launch in one of the cities where he was speaking, handled all of his travel arrangements, speaking engagements, book signings. So all of these things I'm coordinating for this one individual. So the volume of work at that one time for this one initiative was great for us to not only have that learning, but really show and flex our muscle about the things that we can do and how diverse that we can do. So one day we're doing craft services, the other day we're coordinating a book signing, the other day we're talking to a theater in another city to plan
Right.
a larger kickoff event. So we're doing a lot for one individual behind a mission and a book that we really stood behind, that we loved, and it was for a person who's really great.
I think I got my copy. I can't remember, but
Me too. If not, I got one for you.
nice. Nice. And the cool thing about a win is it kind of gives you that inspiration. It gives you that opportunity to say, you know what, I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It's almost like a level of validation, and I know in my industry, I might spend 6 months pitching something. And then when you get somebody that says, yeah, this is actually kind of interesting. You're like, really? Cause in my industry, I'm just used to hearing no, like everything is a no. So I don't get offended. I'm desensitized to it. But when you hear the yes, that's when like, okay, if I can get one yes, I can get 2. If I can get 2, I can get 10.
Absolutely.
What I mean?
And those to me, I call those Godwinks. In this business, and probably a lot of entrepreneurs can relate to this, you probably have days where you are questioning, are you on the right path? Is this something that I should be doing? And then something happens and you feel good. You get that client you wanted, or you do a really good job. Your client is like, you are the best. I have texts. I had text the other day. She calls me a superstar. And so when you can solve a problem, when you know that you're making a client's day better, you're taking a weight off their shoulders from some really heavy stuff that my clients are going to. I talk about the fancy stuff, But I've had to find, medical help for clients. I've had to find, car repairs, the dirty stuff that people don't like to do, we do. And to know that we are making their day better, that we're adding value for their lives and they think we're superstars, those are all bad wings. So when I have a bad day that I don't know if I should continue doing this, I have those stories to keep me going.
No, that's great. I mean, you must be a superstar, clearly, right? Because, you're doing all these things and you're making it happen and, just really, really like finding the ability to just get things done, and that's for some people, it's really hard to land the plane,
Mhm.
you know? They could keep the plane circling the airport, but they can't land the plane, and if you're able to do that, you are the rock star that they're talking about. So, but on another note, just to shift gears real quick, it's Women's History Month.
Mhm.
What does that mean to you?
It's a time of celebration. I am rooting for all the women this month, okay? If you are my sisters, my cousins, my daughters, I'm so happy that we have this time to reflect, right? To really revel in who we are, to celebrate who we are individually and collectively, because we're not always celebrated. Sometimes we're the last person that gets the thank you. We're the last person that anybody thinks about, but we're the first person that people need something from. And so to just pause and say thank you. Make sure you say thank you to a woman or woman.
So,
You're welcome.
not you, right? Somebody else.
3 other people besides me. Okay, 1 a
You
week
do.
for the whole
I
month.
could do that. I could do that.
Right. So I think it's a time of celebration and a time of reflection. Towards the end of the month, let's think about what we need to continue moving forward. But I think you should take this moment to celebrate each other as women, to celebrate whether you have business or not, to celebrate you and what you do, your contributions to your family, your contributions to society.
Right. I think there's something to be said that men would not be where they are if it wasn't for the contributions of women to our society. And sometimes I think men sometimes forget that, and we have to be better at being able to kind of bring that awareness out, and just actually verbalize it. You know what I mean?
We need that affirmation.
You need the affirmation, women like you who are doing amazing businesses, like Time Management LLC and, all of the other women that you profile on your podcast, I think it's important just to keep that conversation going, you know. So speaking of your business, what's next for Time Managed LLC? Like, how are you scaling your business? What are some of the things, long-term plans that you're doing? You don't have to give us all the tea, but, give us a little something and unpack what is it that, you see your business, growing, in the next 5 years.
Yes. Well, admittedly, I would like to slow down on the private client side. So if you have not gotten in with Time Managed and you are a private client and you want this private client service, get in now. So it's going to slowly close.
So you're shifting out of
I'm flipping out of the personal and the
Okay.
private so that I can do more for more people at a larger scale. And what that looks like is staffing desks. Like I said, my initial vision of staffing a desk would be in service to condominiums, office buildings, apartment buildings, things like that, luxury spaces, be the concierge in these luxury spaces. So that's one aspect of growth. And what's next? The other place is to be a benefit for employees. So I mentioned earlier, law firms, private equity firms, any business that likely has high billable hours, their staff, their employees, their partners are really busy. If they probably are, high stress, low balance in their lives, close to burnout, they need us. Those are the types of companies that I want to serve because we can serve more people, even though we're going to be doing the same thing. We can serve more people at the same time.
So you're talking about hotels, condos, corporate offices, everything that you can do that's kind of a B2B service provider. And then maybe some celebrity clients possibly, or luxury clients or
Yeah.
really high net individuals. I mean, we
Absolutely.
can't discount that, but
Well, I think even the production and the craft services. When you think about craft services, it's not just about putting out food for on the set. Do your actors, people on the set need or production team, do y'all need dinner? Do you need accommodation, transportation. What are all of those other things that you need while your production is coming together? How can we help, bring that to life and make sure that we're taking some of those things off of your plate during those times. So that's something else that we could do. That's probably more on the event basis. And again, these VVIP services. So if you want that luxe experience at some of these large sporting events, so whether it's the Super Bowl, the World Cup, college football is really big here in Atlanta. Any of those things that we can do concerts. The big concerts are coming into town. I had Beyonce, I see for Beyonce a couple of years ago, so that's always fun. So I still like doing those like one-off event based services where we can surprise and delight. That is my goal.
And what about like branching out? Because I don't know all of the reach, but are you thinking about doing international, offices in Paris or France,
That sounds beautiful, right?
Dubai, you think about your services kind of translate in a lot of different international markets because there are people and businesses that may also want this. Is there possibly a plan to, scale in that way as well?
I don't have a plan to do that, but it sounds amazing. I'm gonna add it to my strategic plan, long term. One of the things I didn't mention, which can reach people worldwide, is the development of an app where you will have a concierge at your fingertips.
Maybe a little AI possibly?
Agentic AI, power agentic AI.
I like that. And that would allow you to curate it almost in a way that you could do it in a mass, kind of like in a mass scale.
Exactly. And it'll be different. It won't be, of course, as high touch as what we offer to clients that we see face to face that want to talk to us, but they can pay a premium. If you don't need a premium, but you need some of the services that we offer, like dinner reservation, you have several different apps, right? If you want dinner, if you need transportation, you go Uber or Lyft. Open table for dinner, help for your reviews, booking.com, Expedia, you have all these different apps for it. Imagine going to one app, have your concierge, book your dinner, book your car, grab you a gift, all in one place.
I love it. So let's put that in action.
Let's
Do
do
that.
that.
Let's put that in action. That is going to be the next step, and you're going to raise millions of dollars to, fund your business and launch it internationally. We're doing that.
We're doing it.
Well, I say we, but technically it's you.
I mean, you were here helping out with the idea. Just like my friends back in 2009, they're going to get a cut. You'll get a cut too.
I just like to wet my beak. That's it. I just need a taste.
Okay.
Just a little something. Maybe some tickets to the Hawks game, some World Cup tickets. You never know.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, look, I just need a badge.
Right. All I said.
And I'll do my thing. I really, really appreciate this opportunity to talk to you. If I wasn't amazed before, I'm even more amazed now of your business and you as an entrepreneur. And I think that you've created some great takeaways for people who are on a journey, whether you have a concierge business or any other type of business. And I just think it's been great to listen to how you are just offering these services to people. I think you really hit some really great points. It was a great interview. I think that, I think this is the best one you've ever done
It's best episode ever.
of yourself on your own podcast. And, but I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to interview you.
Thank you for agreeing to it. Thank you for being here. And to my audience, I hope you enjoyed the episode. And until next time, be well and be balanced. Thank you for joining me this week. Let's continue the conversation on social media at 1 Minute with Monee on all channels. Also, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Until next time, be well and be balanced.